Uh, uh, I was off beat, yeah, now I'm on. Dunking like LeBron, yeah, you know I got it going on. Rockin' Sean John, me, I'm like the Don, almost messed up there. I had to bring it back, used to have the dreads in my hair. Yeah, I really don't care. I bump Cuddy, man. I bump the wallet and the Asher. Yeah, T-Bai, man, he's just a dirty rapper. Yeah, I used to work at Napa. Now I'm on space like NASA. Yeah, T-Bai go blast off. Eating the pasta. Used to go
Welcome to the KYP podcast, starting the episode strong with the freestyle. My name is Danny. I'm here with my co-host
KYP James,
Kevin G,
and our special guest
T-Bai.
Thank you again so much for the crazy intro. I love it. I wish we could have you like freestyle
so
all of
moody.
Yeah,
It sets the mood. It's crazy.
I was just saying, you know, what stands out about your style is it feels so effortless. And that's also what I took away from the first time I met you. First time I met you was actually at one of your shows.
The show, right?
Yeah, because Andy came home one day. He's like, yo, I met this fucking chill ass dude at basketball. He's a rapper in Toronto. He knew I was running the podcast too, right? He's like, you got to come check out a show. And that's what I saw on stage, right? And yeah, you perform all around locally, right?
Right. Yeah.
Do you how often do you have a show?
Right. So I try to book shows quarterly. So at the start of the year, and then 3 more for the rest of the year for myself for like a solo show. There's this cover band. Shout out to Wing Night the band. They cover like early 2000s and late 90s hip hop and R&B. So they'll play all the hits, and they actually got in contact with me before COVID. We did a Dr. Dre show, so they covered the Dr. Dre Chronic album. So I had to come in, and that was like a challenging thing too, learning other people's verses.
Oh, you had to rap Dr. Dre's Chronic album?
Right. Yeah. Not the whole thing.
Yeah, some of the songs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But so I do that with them whenever they
That's
call me
sick.
out. I perform with them.
Cool.
And then a couple people I know are plugged in on the scene, so randomly I'll get hit up. Hey, do you want to perform at this festival or perform at this mini art gallery? So those shows kind of come and go. But for myself, I try to book at least 4 shows, 4 like big shows for myself. Then I'll feature the homies, might do a solo show. But those are the ones where I kind of have full control of everything that's going on. Yeah.
So I know that we've talked a lot about your life in the intro episode. You've been in the game for so long. I think there's only a few guests that we've ever had on the KYP that's been doing what they love for that long.
Okay.
And so
10 years, right?
Yeah. Decade.
And so that's why I think on today's episode, what I want to talk about is longevity, something that not a lot of people tend to have in their career.
Mm-hmm.
So how we're going to separate the episode, number one, is with your experience and your knowledge. You've probably seen so many trends come and go, and I wanted your input on how does it feel to see things come and go and things like that. Number 2 is also looking at why a lot of people are pursuing their career for the wrong reasons. Probably numbers, probably money, wealth, or status. Number 3 is creating longevity in your career. It doesn't have to be continuously making music. It's creating something sustainable that you can push your career to the next level.
Right.
And so, T-Bai, I want to know your input. Like, how do you feel these days where a lot of these music trends, they just pop out of nowhere and people think it's like the next big thing?
Right. Yeah. So that's a good question. I remember when I first came to Toronto, Chief Keef was just popping up on the scene. There was a lot of rappers trying to sound like Chief Keef and get on that Chicago drill sound. I can't even lie. I was even experimenting with those flows and that style. Then mumble rap came to be a thing, and a lot of people frowned upon it when it was first popping, and then just kind of became the norm. So a lot of people were doing that. I feel like real hip hop starting to come back now. So there's always going to be trends in hip hop, you know, because and I don't mind it too, because there's always room for everything, right? As long as you kind of know your lane, and know what's true to you, it's cool. As trends come and go, but for me personally, I feel like the hardest thing was just trying to stay focused on what I'm doing, and block out. I just call it white noise, you
Right.
know, all these trends, and it could get distracting. Sometimes you can look at the trend and see that, oh, this is what's popping right now. This is what's making money. This is kind of what the mainstream wants to hear. So that could kind of steer you in that direction. So you kind of just always got to know as an artist what you want to do with yourself and your sound. Yeah, that's what I got to say about the trends. Yeah.
When it comes to like all these trends, right? It's really hard to distinguish whether it is something really trendy or something different, right? Because hip hop has a strong fundamental from what I remember. What was it? It was MCing, b-boying, and all these things, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to these new trends that comes out or new styles of rap coming out, right? There's a fundamental. What's really your opinion on these new trends? Is it mostly kind of breaking the rule? Because a lot of rappers I know, they tend to disrespect the OGs. They're like, yo, fuck you guys. Like, I'm doing my own thing. But a lot of people, they're trying a lot of new experimental style that revolves around taking the basics and the core of hip hop and kind of molding it to a new style.
Yeah. So, no disrespect to the OGs, but I kind of used to be a hater, actually, if I'm not being honest, on the new sounds that were popping up.
Right.
I used to feel like, yeah, this isn't quote unquote real hip hop. Hip hop should be like this. I don't know why we're going in this lane, but now that I've kind of grown as an artist, I'm seeing how you can take like a mumble rap influence and take like a screamo influence and kind of make your own sound with it, right? So you kind of need these trends to come up, and even for producers, it kind of pushes producers to a new level. The beats are changing, 808s are different, sampling is different. So for me, I like it, right? Not necessarily meaning I'm going to follow the trend, but it kind of,
You appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
It inspires you?
It does inspire me, and I might not like the song, but I appreciate what the artist did with the beat.
Trying to do,
you know?
yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And it's all about expression, you know, and that's kind of what hip hop is, you know.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps me now navigate what I want to do, right? Instead of just doing verse, chorus, verse, chorus, you know, you might have bridge, chorus, you know,
Like mixing it up.
mixing it up,
Yeah.
talking on it, screamo here, mumble here for a bit. There's just like a lot of different avenues you can take now with all these scenes or trends popping up, right?
Another thing I noticed is because hip hop is so big now,
Right.
it's so commercialized. There's so much money in it for, you know, the big corporate labels. How much of the new trends these days, obviously there's kind of different influences for them. Sometimes it comes from a very unique artist, but how much of it, I wonder if you know or if you have an opinion, how much of it comes from like, you know, these big corporate companies sitting in a room kind of reworking different formulas that's worked in the past? You know, would you know anything about that?
So actually, yeah, I was just talking to my friend yesterday. He was telling me how he was working with this duo back in the day, female recording artist and a male rapper, and they got signed to Warner, but then one of the executives took the male rapper aside and was like, you know, what you're doing right now isn't very marketable. You know, we kind of want to put you more on like a Macklemore vibe. Like Macklemore is what's popping right now, because he was a white rapper. And they were like, yeah, this whole trap thing you got going on, it's not going to cut it. It's not where the money is. So we want you to, they kind of tried to morph him into something that he wasn't. And then my friend was telling me he just backed out. He was like, you know what, this isn't true to me. I want to have fun making music. So there are people that back out, but then there are some people that try to conform, right? So it just really all depends on the artist.
Yeah, well, I mean, it comes from a question of greed, right? A lot of
Right.
times, everything we live in a capitalistic society, everything needs to be money and needs to conform to the, how do you say, the lowest common denominator. I feel a lot of styles of hip hop, like especially styles of hip hop that I enjoy listening to, a lot of people, they tend to, let's say you take Drake's new album. A lot of people would say, yeah, I really like the title track. I like this. I like that. And I would come in and say, oh, I actually like the last song better because it's within. People's like, no, that's like the crappiest song. Like I fell asleep while listening to it, or I don't enjoy doing that. So when it comes to marketability
Right.
versus, let's say, being true and genuine to yourself, right? Do you feel like you've ever had a situation where you were very tempted to actually shift and actually follow the marketability instead of being genuine to yourself?
Right, right. Yeah. So, yeah, when I first came to Toronto, I was still trying to find my sound, and I saw what was popping, the trends, and I told myself, you know what, maybe what I'm doing right now isn't my style, my sound. Let me try what's popping right now. So I tried that, and I had quite a few songs on the trendy wave, but as an artist, like it was a cool song if you didn't know me, right? You could hear it and be like, oh yeah, this is a cool song. Who is this? But then if you know me and it's like, oh, this is T-Bai, it's like, oh no, that's not T-Bai. That's not T-Bai.
Okay.
Right? And that was like the biggest takeaway for me. I was showing my homies the songs, and my close homies would always be like, you can do better, right? People that I just met would be like, oh, this is sick, because they don't really know me, right? So that kind of showed me where I need to be as an artist, right? Like I wasn't trying to chase the money per se, right? I was trying to better myself as an artist, like what can I do? How can I evolve my sound to get it more authentic to myself, right? And it's a slow gain. It's a really slow gain. And I was down to take that ride, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Disconnected just dropped, and I feel like, yeah, the more I get older and the more I stay true to myself, the more authentic the music sounds, right? And that's all I really want as an artist. I want someone to hear my song. Could be like a 20 track album, right? I don't want to just be like, oh, listen to song 5. This is like the song that really describes me. I want someone to pick a random song and be like, oh yeah, this is T-Bai. Track 2, oh yeah, that's T-Bai. This is like a different style of T-Bai, but it's still T-Bai,
And, I think what you mentioned about this is T-Bai, you've managed to develop your signature sound, right?
Right.
Kind of just want to go quickly through how you got to get that signature, because every artist out there has a signature. I think that's the beauty about art. Art is one, if not the only type of profession that people do have signatures, right? Videographers and filmmakers do have their signature look, and artists do have a signature flow or writing. And I just wanted to go quickly through how you managed to get that T-Bai sound.
Right. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I'll be showing a lot of the homies the new songs, and they'll be like, oh yeah, this is my shit. This is T-Bai. This is your sound. But I think it took me a while to get there, because I kind of had to sit down and ask myself, what am I trying to present to the world? There's a lot of things you can talk about as an artist. So I just wanted to make sure I focused on, when it came to the lyrics, that it's relatable stuff. I'm out in the streets trapping, I'm not living the crazy wild lifestyle. I'm really just chilling a lot of the times, just working on music. Like I grind really hard in the music, but if I'm not working on music, I just like to chill, right? And that's kind of the hip hop I appreciate. I love all forms of hip hop, but a lot of the times I just want to chill, listen to chill stuff, right? So that kind of shaped my mind with regards to how I want to sound, how I want to come off as an artist. I don't want to come off like ignorant Lil Pump, right?
Takashi.
Yeah, Takashi, like that's, and hey, unfortunately, that's marketable,
Right.
You know, like that's
For
what
some reason.
for some reason that's what a lot of labels want.
It's
But
the what is it? Plant industry plant.
industry plant,
plant,
yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and it's getting easier to spot them nowadays,
Yeah.
right? And speaking of Takashi, I can't name his last song, or Lil Pump. I don't know when's the last time they released a song. You know, like a lot of industry plants, they come and they go.
They're quiet now.
They're
Yeah.
quiet. Yeah. Like they have a little run, and then like everything's fake. You know, so it's kind of hard to keep up that fake persona, right? So that's why I just stay true to myself and just really try and build on myself as an artist.
We started this conversation with longevity, right? And, do you feel like the fact that you've always stayed true to your sound and, you really care about being genuine to who you are and not following the trends, do you think that contributed to the reason why you were able to do it for 10 years? Because trends come and go.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. It definitely was. I'm always experimenting. I'm always down to experiment, but there's kind of the essence of just stay in your own lane. Right. Even if I want to steer off into another lane, still make sure that it's true to me. And over the years, just in that mindset, I can feel myself getting better, and it feels good also because, as I was saying, when I first came down and I was doing the trap stuff, I was getting better. The flows were getting tighter, but it wasn't hitting the soul. And I would like make a cool song per se, right? Then after a week, it didn't really have any replay value for me. It was always like, oh, let's make another trap song. Then I would make another trap song.
Right.
A couple weeks later, nah, let's try it again. Let's try it again. Now, I'll make something, even something simple, right? But it's true to myself. Then weeks, months can go by, and I can hear it again, and I can still appreciate it.
It's timeless for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And going back to the industry plants, you think of Tekashi, you think of Lil Pump. There's a discussion. One of the topics we wanted to talk about was people pursuing this for the wrong reasons, right? To be a Tekashi, to be a Lil Pump, it's kind of following the money, right?
Right.
Not so much the art. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought here, but Danny, I think you know where I'm trying to go with this.
I believe that what Kevin was trying to mention is that with all these people going in, right? Like, do you think that having such a narrow look on, because commercialization is so rampant in music, like, why do you think these young artists are selling their soul to the devil to actually make a quick buck?
Right. Yeah. So, unfortunately, the whole flashy aspect of the industry is kind of what people want, right?
The cars, the money,
cars,
the
the
house,
money, the chains,
chains,
the women in the videos, right? And that, like, if that's what's being pushed, like if real hip hop was on the mainstream being pushed, I feel like a lot of people would want to be more authentic and more true to themselves. But as a young artist coming up, if this is pretty much all you're seeing, on the billboards, MTV, BET, all these commercial songs, commercial artists with that vibe, I feel like that kind of entices them, like, oh, this is kind of where I want to be, and also too, like, who wouldn't want to have the nice car or the nice chains and all that, but at the same time, it kind of takes away from the whole art itself, the art of rap. And for me personally, I had to remind myself, I always got to remind myself, why am I doing this? Because I would love to get signed. I would love to tour the world and collect checks show to show. But as I was saying, it's got to be a slow gain. I don't really see myself switching up just for that that check and all that. Yeah.
So what do you think about rappers like J. Cole?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, somebody that is obviously a multi-million dollar rapper. You know, he has his tracks sell out platinum.
Right.
But his lyrics seem to be very true. You know, he even had a lyric regarding Lil Pump, how that his lifestyle. I think it was on the 21 Savage song. I forgot what the song name was, but he was like, it's not gonna last.
Yeah.
You know, this money, chains, you know, buying a car, it's not gonna last. And he
Right.
called Lil Pump out on that song. So what do you think about mainstream rappers like J. Cole, and what are they doing for the industry, for the guys that are rapping now as, you know, 21-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds?
Right. Right. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. J. Cole, perfect example. There's a lot of artists like J. Cole with the same mindset, and for me, like those are the artists I look up to. And one thing I really appreciate about those artists, and even some of the OGs in the game that kind of stay quiet, because nowadays it's very it's a lot of clickbait. You know, you hear, oh, such and such artist is beefing this artist. You want to read up about it, or
Yeah.
such and such artist, TMZ doing some dumb shit. You know, oh, what's this all about? And
Just noise, white noise again.
exactly,
right?
white noise. It takes
Yeah.
away from the music, right? That's why I really appreciate artists like J. Cole, who, when they're getting ready to drop an album, you know, okay, J. Cole's in album mode, right? Then they'll do the album, they'll do the tour, crush it, and then you don't hear from them. You know, like Kendrick dropped the album 2-3 years ago.
Exactly.
Haven't
Yeah.
really heard from him since.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what I appreciate from musicians. Because yeah, I feel like everyone nowadays are trying to stay relevant, trying to stay in the spotlight.
Or like Kanye West a little bit,
Yeah, yeah, man.
posting his wife on Instagram,
Yeah.
butt naked.
Don't even get me
Yeah,
started.
album's coming out, y'all. But my wife first.
But yeah, man. And
And
it's-
his marketing is smart.
it's smart,
People care about what he posts and what he says,
right?
you know, with his brand and everything. But it is very controversial, and I think that's what they capitalize on for sure.
And it's sad too, because just like 2 years ago, he released that Netflix documentary, that 3-part documentary,
Which was amazing.
which was amazing,
Right? Yeah.
Amazing, and it really made me go, wow. Like I always knew Kanye was a grinder.
That come up was crazy.
The come up was
Yeah.
crazy, right? And you can see how hungry he was.
Yeah.
So it's just sad for me to see as a fan. And like I'm like holding on to, like, I don't know what I'm holding on to. As
What
a
is
fan.
what is that quote? The villain quote,
Oh, it's you either die
as a hero.
a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
Oh,
The Batman quote, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Dark Knight.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And no, it's true, man.
But I'm glad that you're sticking true to your roots, your inspirations, the old school rap. You know, you studied the game for 4 years in the library. You know, writing verses, writing bars. I feel the authenticity coming out of you, right? Even in this room right now, and just the way you freestyle. You know, it's in the moment. It's from the heart, and it's very soulful. It's nice to hear it, like, from the ears. So, as someone that likes rap music and that has been listening to music for a long time, I feel like your flow is very it definitely comes from the heart, and you're not trying to sell records, you're not trying to sell clicks. You know, you're really trying to pursue something out of pure passion. And I think that's why Kill Your Pride was born. As people, we want to interview people such as yourselves that are doing something that's from the heart, and you know, it's not just for whatever monetary reason, you know.
Right. Hey, man. Hey,
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Thanks for
having
coming
me
on
again.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah, man, honestly.
Again.
Yeah.
I do want to hit you with another question, right? This is more kind of less of an existential question, but more philosophical in a way.
Yeah.
It's, you know, that saying, it's like, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Right.
In my opinion, because music is so massively produced and massively commercialized, you'll see a lot of people wanting to come in for the quick gain. You don't see someone going like, yeah, bro, I want to become a xylophone player and get bitches and money.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
I've watched that. Controversial xylophone player got caught with prostitutes.
So, I want to know your input on, do you think the commercialization of music has a very big detrimental, is very detrimental to the art?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. well, speaking from experience, like even me myself, I tried to do more commercial records just so I can get radio plays, right? So it was always a dream of mine to get on the radio. So there was for like a full year, I was just trying to pump out like radio songs, radio hits, submitting them to the radios, and like not one of them made it on the radio. And then randomly, I submitted one song that was very true to myself that I thought, yeah, this is a cool song. It could probably sound good on the radio, but I was really proud of it. I wasn't proud of everything else I was submitting, but I was really proud of this record. And that was the one that they selected, right? So
Which one was that one?
this one, it was at the time, so there's two that got on the radio. The first one was Flexin', a song called Flexin'. And then the second one was What's Your Life Like? It was on not the last album, but the one before, Flow Here Forever. Just remind me what the question was again?
Do you believe that the commercialization of music has a very detrimental effect
Right.
on the art?
Right. Yeah. As I was saying, it kind of steered me in the wrong direction personally. So I kind of had to figure out how to steer myself back in the right direction. But yeah, the cool thing about it though is that just like the trends, right? You can have someone over here doing their commercial thing, right? It might not resonate with you, but there still might be something you can take away from it, right? If you're over here and someone's over here, it's not necessarily trying to say your way is the right way, but you can still learn why they're going this way, and you can kind of study them to see what they're doing to get that commercial success, and then kind of intertwine it with what you're doing. So it does kind of take away from the art, but it also helps you as an artist to see what people want per se.
Yeah.
What the mainstream wants, because you know, as an artist what you want, you know what your fans want, but it's also hard to know what the mainstream wants, right? So it is a detriment in my opinion, but it also it helps you.
It could benefit.
It could benefit, yeah.
Like somebody like Kanye, as we were mentioning, right? Or even someone like Drake, that has mastered the marketing, how to market yourself, and how to sell records, right? I don't know exactly what his formula is. If I knew, I'd be a billionaire. But the way he markets himself and how he was on every song for that 1 year. You know how this year on Spotify, your top artists, it's always Drake.
Everybody has
like everyone
Drake,
had Drake on his top artists. So what did he do? Did he pay Spotify? Or was he only dropped an album? He dropped an album, but how was he on the top charts on every single one? So yeah, it definitely, if you can study someone like Drake or somebody like even Kanye, I'm just naming these two artists because they're obviously very, very mainstream.
Right.
You could probably use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
And I'm sure someone like Kid Cudi had studied what Kanye was doing back in the day, right? And that's how Cudi and for someone like Cudi, it's someone that's real. His music was very real, and he also marketed himself in a way where it brought a lot of clicks and streams, right?
Right. And even to touch on that, because that just sparked something in my mind.
Yeah.
It's always hard to gain a following, right?
It's tough.
Especially worldwide. If you want to be heard in this country or this country, sometimes you need that mainstream hit, right? You can have a whole catalog full of stuff that's true to yourself, but people might not hear it because nothing from that selection kind of blew up, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, it's you could have that one commercial song that people go to, like, oh, this is T-Bai. Let me check in, to see what else he has. Then it's like, oh shit, this is really T-Bai.
Exactly.
But you kind of need that jump start to kind of help you get from, is this T-Bai, or oh shit, this is T-Bai.
And then you get that radio song, but then they search you up on Spotify and they have all these other songs
Exactly.
that's actually you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's one of those ways to get discovered as an artist.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I wanted to throw you another low-key existential question. So hypothetically, right? Let's say, because you know how typical supply and demand, right? Audience wants something, you deliver, and that's why there's so many artists. do you think there is a possibility within, let's say, the next 5 to 10 years that the expectation of an audience gets changed from, I want to listen to cars, drugs, and stuff, and gangbanging, all these things, to move their expectation towards, okay, this is actually real hip hop, and I want to listen more to that? Because if you change the audience perspective on what real music, well, I wouldn't say real music because every music is valid, but to what is very core, genuine rap and music, do you think that there's a chance that that it is feasible?
Truthfully, I feel like the mainstream is more pushed towards the younger generation,
Right.
like the teenagers and even younger that don't really have any life experience, that don't really know, not
that's a
yet.
good
They
point.
don't really know
That's a
what's real
very good
or
point.
what's fake yet.
Yeah.
So anything to them is like, oh yeah, this is cool. Oh yeah, like this guy's selling drugs. Like this must be the way. So they're easily influenced, right? And then it's on that individual or the younger generation to grow up with hip hop to fully understand, oh no, this isn't what hip hop is all about. So they're gonna have to go on their own and find out the true hip hop, the true roots.
That's really interesting. And do you feel like the experience leads the person to choose what type of music they listen to, or
For
is
sure,
it
yeah.
the music that leads the person to change themselves?
Ask that question one more time. That was a good question.
So you were mentioning, let's say that kids are very they get influenced very quickly by things, right?
yeah.
And as they grow up, they tend to relate to certain music, but they need to grow up, right? So do you feel certain people grow up in a certain way where they listen to certain music? They're like, I relate to this music, that's why I want to listen to it? Or is it more, I listen to this music and I want to be what he says?
I feel like a little bit of both.
Right.
Because my first artist that really gravitated towards me was Eminem, and we don't even live the same lifestyles. Like, we're complete opposites, but just the pain and the emotions that he put into his music, I was able to relate just to the feel, not necessarily to the message. Sometimes he had great messages in his songs, but
Superman.
yeah.
Just kidding.
I can be your Superman. But yeah, so I really feel like for me, like with Eminem, for example, wasn't necessarily that I wanted to be like Eminem, but I wanted to not only hear more of what he has to say, but other like-minded artists. Everyone's different, right? Some people might hear a rapper like Kid Cudi, for example. When I first came across Kid Cudi, he kind of shaped my whole everything, like my swag and my sound, and just he was so cool, and I feel like he's a positive influence for the youth. But then you can have someone that's polar opposite, who may be cool doing drugs and trapping and all that, and that might influence them in the wrong direction, right? So it really just all depends on which artists that you choose to connect with.
And we were talking more about the game and how music is these days, but I want to bring it back down to earth and looking at yourself and being an artist, right? We're talking about longevity. We're talking all about that. We could be here for days talking about how the industry can change and stuff, but if you're not around to be able to change the industry, what's the point? So I want to get back to you and how you kept your career alive and how you plan on in the future, develop your own brand, develop things. Because one thing I've heard is that you'd love to have maybe extra labels or brands or clothing under your name. So I want to hear more about that.
Right. So to touch on the longevity question,
Yeah.
For me, the main thing was just staying on the grind. It's easy to get distracted. Life is always going to hit you with curveballs. Really, just depends on how you bounce back and how you use that energy, whether it be negative or positive, to fuel into the artistry. So that kind of kept me going, because life wasn't always easy, right? There's just definitely been some rocky moments, but as I grew older, I realized that it's best to use those emotions and those times to fuel the music. And that's kind of how I have my longevity, because it doesn't really matter what I'm going through, whether it be positive or negative. I can always find a way to bring it back to the music
on the spot.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of like the final point for me. Like, cause yeah, I know a lot of homies that just fell off just cause life hit them too hard, and now they want to focus on something different, or the music wasn't paying like how they wanted to, or they might have like a 2-year plan. 2 years, I expect myself to get signed, and hopefully then I can travel here, travel there. And then after 3 years, it's like, man, like, what am I really doing? Right. So yeah, back to myself now, just always knowing that, I owe it to hip hop to keep going, and to myself, cause I always remember when I first started out how I wasn't good, and how the more time I put into it, obviously the more better I get. And I'll always know that I'm never going to be the best artist in my mind that I can be unless I just keep putting in the hours and putting in the time. And that's the cool thing about rap, like as long as you're open-minded and know that there's always room to grow, you'll have a long career, because you'll never say, oh yeah, this is my best album, I can never top this. For me, it's like, oh, I just did this dope album, how could we top this now, right? Like, what's next? And just always that question, what's next? What can I do next? What can I do to improve the sound or improve the brand? That kind of helps me with the longevity.
So when it comes to really your longevity, right? Because you always want to improve, and after 10 years, 20 years of making music,
right,
tend to feel, maybe you don't feel it, but other people tend to feel like you're stagnating. You're doing the same thing over and over. I want to know your process and how you go about to improve your sound and, try different things.
So when I first started out, I was buying all my beats off YouTube, and I don't knock it. I know a lot of people that, still buy beats off YouTube, and I still shop sometimes for beats on YouTube. But that's one thing that was like the first step for me, like finding a producer in the city, or someone that I can touch base with on a regular basis that can help craft up something for me personally. Because what I found was, when I was rapping on a lot of these YouTube beats, I would pay for the beat. Sometimes I might message the producer after I sent the money, being like, hey, I got the beat at like 45 seconds. Can you do like a mini beat switch?
Okay.
But then a lot of the producers, after they get that check, it's like, all right, it's done. Like, the project's done.
It's a side hustle for them. It's nothing serious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's no partnership, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this is your beat, these are my rhymes, that's the song, right? I kind of wanted to find someone that wanted to be on the journey with me, to create a song that you can be proud of, a song that I can be proud of. If you want me to switch something up, I'm open to, questions like that. If I want you to switch something up, you're cool with, my input.
You need a Chase B in your life.
For real, man. For real, man.
Somebody that'll just DJ, make music with you.
Yeah.
Who's Drake's producer there? OVO 40, right?
Yeah.
Someone that's been through the trenches with you from the beginning. Do you have somebody like that?
It's important. Yeah. So when I met Kev, actually, it was to promote the Flow Here Forever album. And that was like my first fully produced project with one producer.
Gotcha.
And it was like the first time where I found someone that I can just pull up to their crib,
vibe with.
Yeah. And not only vibe with, that level of professionalism, like, 'cause I value your time, you value my time. So there's time to chill. We can chill after the session, but then when it's time to record, time to get this shit popping, we're both locked in. And that was like the biggest thing for me, finding someone. Malcolm is his name, actually. Shout out to Malcolm, Blind Vibrations. That was my first time pulling up to a studio with nothing, like nothing written, no beats,
Just the vibe check, eh?
just a vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we got so comfortable with each other that I would pull up and he'd be like, all right, what's the vibe today? And I'd be like, you know, just got fired at work. And actually that happened.
That happened, right? Yeah.
I got fired.
Yeah.
And then like it was like a weekday. So I was like, fuck, I got no work. What am I gonna do?
It's always on a Thursday.
Yeah, it was actually I got fired.
It's like a corporate thing,
I got
bro.
fired on the Wednesday.
Oh, yo, Wednesday or Thursday, one of those days.
But then the Thursday I woke up and I was like, oh shit, I'm fired, yo.
It's the
like,
check day, the check week.
Yep. It's like this might be the last one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I pulled up. It's like, yo, man, I just got fired. He was like, oh, you want to do like something sad? And I was like, nah, let's do like
Anger.
let's fuck this place. You know? But no, let's do something something positive, something I want to leave the studio feeling good. I don't want to leave the studio and bump this in the car and feel sad, you know? So we were able to cook that up, and the track Live On, if you guys want to check that out later.
Okay.
Track called Live On. Yeah, it was probably my favorite song on the record, just because of the story behind it, how it came to be. You know, it's very positive, and to know that it was cooked up from me being fired, it's like
It fired you up.
fired me up.
Yeah.
He's a rapper.
Just a little bit. I know we talked a lot about your sound. I wanted to take some time to talk about your look, your brand.
Right.
You know, coming to your concert, I immediately noticed there's a clear kind of logo that goes with your music, the bunny, right?
Right. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what that is? I think it's related to Check the Vibe.
Check the Vibe, right? So Check the Vibe is the brand. When I released my first album in 2017, a homie of mine drew up the cover art, and I sent him just like a little logo that I drew in university. Didn't really think too much of it, but I was like, yeah, this is like a cool character. I would love to have this on the album cover. So he put that on the album cover. Then after a month, the album was out for like a month. And I just wanted to rep something from the album, but I didn't have merch at the time, and merch wasn't even a thing. But I really liked the logo that I did. That he did, because he like pimped it out. My version was cool, but he really pimped it out. And
Is this the Amsterdam guy?
a different guy,
Gotcha.
different guy, yeah. So I just like cropped out the bunny. It's like a bunny smoking a joint, and I just
Nice.
put it on the sweater.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, yeah, this is cool, you know. But still no ideas of merch, nothing like that. But I would rock that every day, like honestly every day. It got dirty, sweaty, I was still rocking it.
Yeah.
And then the homies would see me in it, and they'd be like, yo, is this your merch? I'd be like, nah, it's not my merch, but I can make you one if you want. So I did. At first, I was doing like a lot of individual orders. Yo, man, make me a t-shirt. Yo, make me a hoodie. I want a black hoodie. So I was like going to H&M, trying to find hoodies, going to Chinatown, trying
Get
to
a
find
blank
hoodie.
one, right?
Get a blank one,
Yeah.
right? And then going to the print shop just to print the basic logo on it.
Yeah.
Then finally it clicked. It was like, man, I'm kind of doing merch right now.
It's pretty much merch.
This is
Yeah.
pretty, you know. So like, let me
Yeah.
try and capitalize on this and make it legit. So from that moment on, like that was like the start of Check the Vibe. Then it was like a long process getting the logo trademarked.
Yeah.
Expensive too, but got to make sure just in case
Necessary.
it blows up. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So that was like the start of it. And then it went from just t-shirts and sweaters to socks and track pants and caps, toques. So that was kind of the start to now, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's still going?
It's
Still
a pretty
going, still going. I should have wore something today. I don't know,
Yeah.
wearing someone else's stuff, but
It's all good, man.
yeah,
it's a pretty iconic logo.
Yeah.
When I came to your concert, I got your like little starter pack.
yep.
I got the beanie, the poster,
Yep.
the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I should have worn something. Fuck. Yeah, but I think you have all the pieces. I think it's, I feel like you're a perfect example of consistency and what you can do from that, and having such a long and successful career that you've had.
And to many more.
Yeah, to many more.
Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah.
I want to throw you a last question about, being a creator for a long time, right? being a creator myself for over a decade now, I'm a photographer for 11 years. Are you more in the camp of someone who is constantly trying to improve their craft as much as possible? Or are you more the type of person that once you reach a pinnacle of what you're able to do, you tend to gravitate and add more things? So let's say as a rapper, eventually, do you want to start producing your own beats? Do you want to like do more things with your brand, or do you just want to perform as best as possible?
Right. So on this new album, there's a song, it's called Pancakes. I'm gonna send it to you guys to use for the outro. That was the first track actually that I fully produced myself, rapped on, and released. There was a period where I was making beats. Then a buddy spilled juice on my laptop, and I didn't have the backup hard drive, so I lost all my beats. And that kind of, I was like, it took me a while to get good making beats. It was like really hard trying to figure out the software and everything.
Yeah.
Then when I finally got to a level where I was like, all right, yeah, I'm kind of confident with my beats. That's when my shit just, yeah.
It's like life always tells you to stick to one thing.
For real though, for real.
Don't teach, don't make beats.
No, just rap. You are only a rapper.
He's giving you hard signs, man.
But no, honestly, like that was a sign for me, and that kind of showed me like, yeah, maybe I should just stick to the rapping. But then back to that Pancake song now, like years later, I came back and was like, you know what? I was actually kind of getting good at making beats. Like, let me see if I can still pick up on that momentum. And I remember recording it. It's just like a different feel. It's already a different feel when you're working one-on-one with the producer, that you can say on the spot, yo, I don't like those drums.
Yeah.
Switch up those drums, and they switch it up right away, as opposed to just getting a beat sent to you and this is the beat, right?
Very rigid. You can't do anything flexible. Yeah.
Exactly.
Their style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's completely different when it's your own beat, right? And lyrically, it's kind of like a funny song, funny, wavy feel to it. But when I released it finally and I heard it on Spotify, that was like one of the first times where I was like, wow, like this is my song, like this is fully me, from the production to the vocals to the rhymes to the harmonies, everything. So to touch on what you said, I definitely want to experiment. Just if I had more time, because I got to work full time. But if I were to get signed and I were given the time and the opportunities, I know I wouldn't waste them, because there's a lot that I would want to do. I'd want to learn how to get better at producing. I'm starting to sing on a lot more records, but I'm not a singer. I just kind of know how to use my voice for the song. So I would love to take singing lessons, so I can actually sing, like belt the shit,
Get your own chorus.
Get my own choruses and whatnot. So yeah, the sky's the limit, I'm always trying to find ways to get better and improve the craft, even the brand, Before it was, let's just go get that Chinatown sweater, for $5.99, and then let's find the cheapest place to print it. And that evolved to, no, I don't want to give people cheap merch, and expect them to pay for that. Like, let me give them good quality merch, let's find a good supplier for sweaters, and let's find a good place that prints the logos nicely. So even just trying to find new partnerships, collabs, like a Bape collab would be, that's like the Omega, like the Check the Vibe and Bape. So just like,
It'll come.
How come?
It will come.
Oh, it will come. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it will.
Just put it out there. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
But yeah, on that note, where can we find you?
Once again, I'm here. I'm in the building. KYP.
Hey.
Toronto. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram, T-Bai. No, sorry, what am I saying? I'm Chili Chicken on Rice on Instagram.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. But yeah, Chili Chicken on Rice on the Instagram, T-Bai on Spotify, iTunes, T-Bai. You can find me at school during the day, training these kids, trying to build them up. On weekends, I might be playing ball with Kev, Saturday runs, smoking weed after playing 2K, just on my chill shit.
As always, My name is Danny. I'm here with my co-host
KYP James.
Kevin G.
and our special guest.
T-Bai.
Stay tuned for next week's episode. And remember,
The KYP.
Kill your pride, baby.
Kill your pride, baby.
Pass the butter. I can't go to church. I'm sorry, mother. I'm undercover. Know it's been a minute, but I love her. Roll the weed, let it burn. Like Usher, that's my baby. I gave her the keys.